Hello and welcome to the transition from autumn into winter on the Iford estate here in Wiltshire in the UK. And what an extraordinary, weird year it's been. It's been so sad not welcoming people into the garden, but it has given us the opportunity to do a whole load of projects which we wouldn't otherwise have got done if we'd been open. And I'm here with our head gardener Troy Scott-Smith to just discuss what's really been going on over the last few months whilst you haven't been joining us here, and then looking ahead to the optimistic possibilities of 2021 and the garden to come. I mean, the year started, of course, with the completion of our work in the cloister, which was a 7-month restoration work. Amazing restoration, underpinning the walls, taking out the columns, putting a foundation under a building which had basically partially collapsed really with the subsidence in 2018. And it also challenged this building behind us, which is Harold Pito's lovely summer house, originally a Georgian building, moved here by Pito, not placed on a foundation. And this has given Troy and our senior gardener Helen a challenge with regard to what to replant with, because the work has resulted in a new John Hignett, my father's rockery, behind. Troy, what's the plan?
Well, I mean, you've mentioned the summer house repair. Really, that opened up the possibilities here of doing this work behind the summer house. And it's a tricky piece of planting in a way, because we need to transition from this more formal kind of Italian Mediterranean planting into this 18th century woodland planting. So we need to get that palette right. And then what I'm quite keen to do is also link with this view of the English pastoral landscape beyond. So it's tying all of those things together, which quite often is in a garden is what you're trying to do, is having this narrative throughout the whole garden, which is consistent, feels compelling and authentic and right for the place. So that's a piece of work there. And elsewhere, you can probably see in the distance there, we've been working on what we call the roadside bed. Again, taking out over mature, out of scale shrubs, trying to do some renewal pruning and creating pockets for new planting.
And you've got a new team of volunteers this year.
Well, we couldn't have done all of this without them, really. I mean, Helen and I are not bad, but we're not that good. So they're all really wonderful people just to work with, but they're all talented as well.
They've brought a huge energy to Iford. I really enjoy that.
And different skills. And
yeah.
And so, yeah, we have about 6 per day working alongside us, doing exactly what we're doing. So if we're rose pruning, they're rose pruning, propagation, anything really.
Elsewhere around the garden, we've had the Blue Pond patios needed a reseat. Those 2 enormous yews that were dwarfing the space, weren't they? They came out. It was a bold decision at the time. Yews again, do we think?
We think so. I mean, I think that space demands some sort of clipped shape just to hold it. It's very structural and sort of formal there. Just below that, we had box blight, as you know. So box blight could be a huge problem here, so we're trying to act quickly if we see it. So we've taken out a box hedge and we're replanting that very shortly with osmanthus.
But woody eye is a really interesting form for us here, isn't it?
I think it's going to work okay. I don't know if you've seen, I've just put a couple of pots out.
Absolutely.
I think the leaf shape and colour's nice.
And it takes a clip, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, it'd be nice to reveal those flowers in early spring, and I think we'll clip it afterwards. So, I don't know, 3rd week of May, we'll clip it and just keep it to shape.
Yeah, so hopefully a bit of early summer scent in that end of the garden.
Absolutely,
amazing.
Yeah.
And of course, cypresses are a big thing this year. We're just about to start planting our new cypress sort of collection here. I went out to Italy in January and as it were, put my little bit of sticky tape on a number of cypresses, 25 of the Bulgari form,
Yes,
and they're canker resistant, aren't they? Ceridium canker is a big
you
problem
have
for
the 2
us.
here, which have done very well, planted by your father, so we've gone for the same varieties.
And I'm really hopeful those will work. And then at the front gates, we can reintroduce Pyramidalis stricta, the more traditional form, which will give some formality at the front, which would be nice.
Because you were saying to me that it wasn't a Harold Pito thing necessarily. This idea of Italian.
That's right.
Cypresses.
So right back at the Georgian times, 1800, this terrace was known as a cypress walk. So it's amazing how these recurring themes in a landscape can come back and back and back. And I think it's only right, therefore, that we should re-establish what in Pito's day were over 20 cypresses, and we've got what 3 4 now.
Yes, yeah,
Very
that's all,
few.
yeah.
Junipers remaining, lovely old, philarias from the same time, but the cypresses are gone. So that's an exciting project still to come. The cafe has been our main work. It's been causing all the noise in the valley as we've been plugging on. COVID secure working on a building site isn't as quick as it might be otherwise, because obviously it's rather challenging. But bless them, the team have been really plugging on. That's ready for an April opening, which will give you a nice challenge on landscaping an entire space within about half a week. So that's going to be a nice...
But what we're doing behind the scenes, of course, then is really trying to gather, propagate a good collection of plants in our nursery, in the wall garden there, so we'll have lots of material to be able to use in those new
Absolutely.
new
And speaking of propagation, of course, we've got a job out at the moment for a part-time propagator and also a part-time gardener. Do you want to say a couple of words about that?
Well, I think it's a really exciting time for Iford. Hopefully, people who are familiar with Iford, know it's been, a fantastic garden over the years and continually changing. But I think now is a particularly really important time for the garden, with you and Marion taking on really the running of the garden and the estate. So, to be part of that at this time, I think would be really good. So if anybody's got a particular talent for gardening and a love of Iford,
we'd love to get them on board.
Get in touch.
Absolutely. It is an exciting time at Iford. I'm really optimistic about next year. I think turning to 2021, there's a new cafe, new sort of multi-use space in the barn. We've got Tom, who's new to our team, and the farm taking over the herd, which of course roams the valley, our beef herd. There's so much going on, isn't there? And I think with your sort of 8-9 year plan of how we can really renewal plant this garden back to where it should be, I think there's a lot to be excited about.
I think so, and as well as these little pieces, we'll have those series of articles in the English garden, so people can follow our story there, starting from January next year. So if you can't visit, follow us there.
Absolutely. Find us online at Iford Manor and at Troy Scott Smith, Troy SS. Who knows? You'll find him. He's very famous. Excellent. Well, that's all from us for today. Lots going on. We'll see you next month for our New Year Bulletin. Thanks so much.